Hello, everybody. My name is Martin Douglas. I am the host of the Rangers Rabble Podcast. Thank you so much for clicking on this clip from Monday night's phone in. Thank you for the support. Please make sure that you leave a like and make sure you are subscribed. And of course, you can become a member as well if you want to help support the podcast further. You can do this on both Patreon and YouTube. Both are exactly the same. All the tiers are the same. All the pricing is the same. It's just whichever one you prefer. Links for both are in the description. So once again, thank you for clicking on this clip. I hope you enjoy the content and make sure that you like and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, there was a lot of poor performance, to be honest. And I think Nico Raskin actually topped that list and was quickly hooked at half time by the manager after that performance. But going into Cerny was particularly disappointing. Igamani, what I would say with him was, I don't know if the manager purposely set him up on the left, Bryan, but it looked like he was kind of drifting out there. Now, when we saw Igamani come on against Dundee United, he was effective because when he got the ball, he turned around and he had the 18-yard line in front of him in the goals. And I can't see that not being his best place to be. So unless, look, these guys will know better in the training ground about who plays best where or where you can fit certain people in. But it felt like Igamani was letting Tom Lawrence be that number 10 role, drifting into number 9 role as well, because he'd literally drifted out to the left. But he kind of looked like he'd been set up to play there. For what reason? I don't think I missed the post match interview with the manager, but on team tactics. But he certainly didn't get going at all. I thought he was, he looked like a youngster that we were just literally bleeding into the team, as opposed to the guy we saw at Tannadice who hit the ground running. So it was quite a contrast. But just like Tannadice and just like Malmo, we can't. It's one game. You know what I mean? It's one game. So we can only assume there'll be a different outcome in the next game. But to talk about Cerny was particularly disappointing. He's now had a handful of games where he's been particularly poor. And you could see that little bit where you think the fans were getting on his back, and he reacted badly to that and kind of turned around and kind of mouthed and waved back at them. And it's kind of not what you should do. And I think we saw the manager quickly nip that in the bud. Had a wee chat with him about it, told him to calm down, pulled him off, substituted him, and then had a wee chat with him in the sideline before he hit the dugout. So, I mean, well, listen, I'm hoping it's just frustration on behalf of Cerny, who knows he's not playing well, maybe. But he seems to be, to me, he just looked like, I think someone mentioned it in the comments a minute ago, he just looked like he didn't want to play football the weekend. He just looks a bit disinterested, I thought, and that's odd. And it's a bit of a problem if that's the case, because he's a loan player for 12 months. And if a loan player decides that they want to down tools and don't want to be here, we don't have much leverage to make that, to turn that round.
No, we certainly don't. Alan, I don't think a player should, as Iain just said, react and, certainly have a go at the fans, because obviously the fans are the sort of biggest judges as far as how you've performed. As Iain said, he's played a handful of games now and he's flattered to deceive the vast majority of them. I think he had a good game against Motherwell at Hampden. But apart from that, he's really not, done anything like the flying winger that takes on fullbacks. Yesterday, particularly, he was more going inside and backwards with his passes than anything else, instead of attacking the fullbacks. So he's got to take a look at himself, and he's, as Iain says, he's on loan now for 12 months. I dare say Werder Bremen won't be very pleased, with if he starts down tools, because at the end of the day, their players' value is going to drop if he doesn't perform this season.
Well, definitely, I've really not been impressed by Cerny so far, and in his defence, perhaps having a bit of frustration when he's getting stick off the fans. I can kind of understand that. If you're playing football and you're getting stick for not playing well, you've not played well, and you're frustrated as well, and you naturally try and wave it off or react a wee bit if you're getting stick. You're not doing enough. You're making bad choices, and you know, I'm not going to be too fussed at Cerny, you know, waving and gesturing at the fans. You know, he'll know himself he's not playing well. I think he talked when he came in the summer that he'd struggled last season, you know, and it was low in confidence, and I don't think he's done anything to build his confidence yet in terms of his performances. I would disagree with Iain. I thought Raskin was okay. You know, I think he's getting a bit of stick in sort of comments in some of the group chats, but I thought Raskin played quite decent. And I think when you look at how he was playing and how Dowell played when he came on, it looked very much like an instruction. Just keep the ball moving, take the ball, move it on. You know, and the only difference is Dowell done it with a wee bit more range. You know, Dowell was picking longer passes and looking for the wide players, but both of them played quite a central role and not a lot of movement, but it seemed more a tactical thing.
Yeah, I mean, Kieran, I was kind of surprised that Igamani started, in the sense that, you know, Hibs are never an easy sort of opponent for us. And I appreciate, you know, Dessers started midweek, but it's not this type of game that I would have certainly dropped Dessers for, in the sense that, you know, maybe get the game won early and then taking Igamani on. You know, if it was a cup game, or, you know, a St Johnstone at home or somebody like that, you might have, you know, considered Igamani, you know, starting Igamani, but I would have certainly started Dessers yesterday.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. To be fair though, midweek he looked like he was absolutely blowing the final touches. Even coming off, he looked absolutely done in. And I mean, I can't fault the big man's work rate. I know it's weird because a striker's worst attribute is shooting, but his work rate is brilliant. He holds players off, he brings others into play, takes quite a lot of knocks as well on the pitch. I feel like he really done a lot midweek and he deserved a bit of rest, but that's what you come to Rangers for, to play these big games. And then you have to go to maybe Dingwall on the weekend or whatever, And I just felt like, I don't know, like you're saying there, Dessers would have maybe done more, but I just don't think the service was there regardless who was up top. I just don't think you could have had two of them up top, and I still don't think they would have got the service, to be honest. Igamani, don't think he had a very bad game, don't think he had a good game, but I don't think he really had the chance to have a really bad or good game, to be honest.
We're still not anywhere near of working out who sits alongside Bryan. That's the problem. That's the problem. That created all the other problems. You know, so we tried Raskin. Raskin was chasing shadows. I know Alan thought he wasn't the worst, but the manager clearly pulled him off. And then we've had Diamandi there, and he drifts forward. We've had Sterling there. It's not really working. So it's that's the problem. The gap between Bryan and whoever plays the second sitting kind of role is the root cause of not everything, but a good part of our lack of quality at the moment.
100%, Iain. You know, I've said for a long time the midfield's the root of all evil. You know, if the midfield isn't working, then we're not protecting the defence and they get exposed, and we're not getting service to the front players. You know, if we don't get a grip of the midfield, then we'll lose games that we need to be winning. You know, and we'll struggle to put teams away that we should be putting away with ease if we don't make sure the midfield gets sorted and gets really motoring, because Connor Barnes been absolutely sensational this season, and he needs a solid partner beside him.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, you know, there's people saying the Diamandi's his best foil, Kieran. You know, Bryan is obviously a nail. Hold on. Martin is waiting. Martin, hello, how are we?
How are we doing, guys?
Good, thanks. I was kind of hoping it was somebody else other than the boss, and I'm glad it was true. I thought it was Martin himself, but no, it's yourself. How are you?
I'm okay, Bryan. I interacted with a woman's show about 5 minutes ago there with Wolf and stuff. I think you see my messages and all that kind of stuff on the interaction kind of thing. I'm a big supporter of the women's. I've got a season book at Ibrox in the main stand, and I was saying to Martin off air there that I prefer to go to the women's with my wee girl. So on Thursday night, I bought the four game European package kind of thing, and I've gave it to my brother, primarily because I want to go and support the women, the Old Firm match in the Thursday. So that's my priority kind of thing. Give and go, and especially I've got a daughter that's 11-year-old, and she supports the ladies game as well, and I says, look, I bought a season ticket, so I'll go to the 2 Old Firm matches at Rangers and Celtic matches at Ibrox. I'm not missing that, but all the rest I'll go and support you and take you wherever you want to go with the ladies kind of thing. So that's the kind of person I am. So on Saturday, on the game on Sunday, I just feel I'm quite disappointed with Cerny. I think he's came with a big reputation, and he's just fell flat in his face. I just think he's no good. I'm no impressed with him at all. His mannerisms and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think he's a good fit for us, really. I don't know what you think.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say otherwise, Martin. But we'll start with Alan first. Alan, obviously, me and the girls and Wolf spoke about this kick-off time on Thursday. The ladies' Old Firm kicking off at 6, and the men's team kicking off at 8. They say they try and grow, the women's game, and then all of a sudden they throw a Thursday 6 o'clock kickoff at the fans, and then as people like Martin are having to choose between one or the other, or as most have, they've bought the 4 European match package and or feel obliged to go to Ibrox then because they've paid a lot of money for it. So it really doesn't help. They say they want to grow the game, but really this sort of decision doesn't help things, does it?
Oh, it's so frustrating, but as I said in the comments, I'm sure it's not the club deciding this. I know it's got to be the TV companies, and Martin's in that position. He's making that choice. I'm making that choice as well. But £188 cost me for a 4-match package. As a non-season ticket holder, it's £47 a game, and I'm having to choose where or not I go to that game. I've got my money back, and because somebody's got to use my ticket. But the point being, I can't believe that the club would want that to clash, because there's a lot of people at the club work both games. In the media team and the support team, and people involved in the club would want to watch both games as well. It's bonkers to have these clashes. Now, sometimes it's impossible to avoid clashes. Sunday was not ideal in terms of timing, but at least it was achievable to go and see both teams. When you've got small attendances at the women's games, a small amount of extra people through the gate makes a big difference. As a percentage, it's a big percentage, as opposed to getting an extra 10 or 15 people into Ibrox, where there's 48,000 people there. But it's unfortunate. There's not even enough of a gap that people can get home for one of the games and see the second game on TV. So literally full time goes, and then the whistle starts for the next game.
Yeah, and then Martin's second point, Iain, Cerny has been a bit of a disappointment so far. As I say, he started off fairly decently, scoring and contributing, and then all of a sudden he's almost fell off a cliff, hasn't he?
I think as Gallant mentioned in the comments there, Bryan, he did an amazing debut, or certainly an amazing performance against Motherwell with a terrific goal.
Yeah.
And we all thought at the time, every single one of us, we've got a player here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not turned out to be the case yet. I mean, for whatever reason, he's out of sorts just now. Nothing seems to be dropping for him. He certainly isn't making those runs, cutting inside along the 18-yard line, letting loose some shots. He's certainly not doing that like he did against Motherwell. Or is it the case that, as someone again mentioned in the comments, you've got a left-footed player on the right wing, and his one-trick pony is to cut inside, run along the 18-yard line, and take a shot. So if all the fullbacks and defenders know that, then they'll basically show him outside all the time when you're coming down the wing. So yeah, he's been particularly disappointing, but out with his particularly disappointing games. I was upset to see his reaction to the fans like that. I thought that was silly. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't say he was getting any great stick as such. I mean, the fans were getting on his back because he was having a particularly bad game. But I just think his reaction to the fans was a bit silly. You know what I mean? Because he's the type of player that if he does what he does against Motherwell, he'll get everyone backing him. Mm-hmm. So to fall out with the fans at an early stage like that was ill thought out.